Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of August Love Story, the podcast. I'm your host, Tommy T. This is my beautiful wife, Artieka T, in the building. What's up, babe?
A-Town.
A-Town. A-Town's in the building. But this episode, man, it's interesting because this is the first episode of the year, and the year's been started for a couple of weeks now.
7 weeks.
So happy New Year.
Happy 7.
Right, 7. So happy New Year to 2021. I know we're...
Hope you guys are having a great February.
Right, exactly.
Almost March.
Black History Month. I hope you guys are celebrating it.
Stay black.
Yeah, those things. This episode is actually about COVID, year 2, and our friends. You know, how has COVID affected us? How have we adapted, and how has it affected our friends and our relationships with our friends? So let's get into it. So, babe, COVID, year 2, we've been surviving and thriving, striving.
I'm gonna say thriving.
I'm just
depending on what you look at as thriving.
I'm just trying to make the rhyme words.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all. That's it. Just working on my rhyming.
Okay.
You know, been working with Lily on rhyme words.
That was my prayer for you in your new birthday. Like, I mean, your new year, your new age. Yeah. Like, the punchlines get better, the rhymes get better.
Yeah. You know. So how have you adapted to COVID going into year 2? Because just to set it straight, like around March 17th or so, around mid-March.
It was around the St. Patrick's Day mark.
Yeah, we had to, like, basically our lives have been changed because that's when I started coming home, like started working from home. But around this time is when we actually started seeing cases starting to rise, and, you know, more cases were coming to the United States. So we can say that at this point we are a year in of COVID.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've been dealing with everything. So how has things changed? How have you been affected, and your thoughts on everything?
I think that the biggest change was, if I go back 11 months,
right,
the biggest change was adjusting to you being home because we had to come up with a new routine.
Right.
Lily and I did things a certain way throughout the day, and then you were here all day, and it was like you're impacting the routine. So now we've got a new normal from our old normal, which has evolved even more since then. Like, I've tried to pull you. At one point, we were including you in our routine because you were home, and now I've tried to, like, pull away from including you in the routine so much. Just because you are still working from home. Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is trying to figure out my balance, because I'm a person who thrives on alone time. Yeah. And you don't get that when you can't send everybody away. Right. I can't be like, hey, you and Lily should go to the store because you don't, like, go to the store. Yeah. So I have to, like, do more of the running of errands by myself, and still trying to maintain the balance of giving Lily healthy amounts of sunlight. Right. Because it's cold outside, so you don't want to really take her out, but you don't want to, like, make her only exist in the house. Yeah. So just trying to balance everybody's mental health, not so much yours, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I don't think about you as much as I do me and Lily. Well, I'm being completely honest here.
I appreciate the 100-ness, but dog.
I have to think about myself, because if I am not existing in my full capacity, I can't be there for you guys at 100%.
And see, I think, and I'm glad you said something about that, just because I constantly think, is she getting enough time to be by herself?
Mm-hmm.
Does she had it like when you, like it used to bother me, like you would leave for like 2 or 3 hours and I'd be like, dog, where you at? You know, like come back.
Just walking around the store.
But it's like being within this last year, I've learned so much of what I need to do for you. For you to be, it's crazy. I've learned so much what I need to do for you to do what you need to do for me.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like it sounds very crazy, but for you to be at 100%, I have to give you that time. I have to allow you to say, and I don't mean allow you as in to control you, but allow you and not bother you when it's you're going out to drive around and go look at stuff.
Yeah, like I'm not even doing anything. It's just like I could literally leave the house and have 10 miles to empty. I'm not saying that that's a true statement, but I could have 10 miles to empty and I can come back with 8 miles. Right. And I could have been gone for 2 hours and I was just literally down the street.
Right. Exactly. And it's like I've had to learn how to deal with that and be comfortable with you doing that. And making it okay, because at the end of the day, it makes it better for me because I get what I need done. You know, if you're able to do the things that you need to do. And that's just me learning you as a person throughout this pandemic.
Yeah, because prior to us having a child, we didn't have to think about it. Right. Because you were at work. I worked from home. Well, even before I worked from home, but like I worked and I was able to have my time that was separate from you, and you were able to have your time separate from me. Granted, I didn't feel like you required as much separate time as I did, but I required a lot more than you. Now on the other side of it, it's like, yeah, I enjoy you being here. Yes. But I need everybody to leave me alone sometimes. So like trying to figure out, and that's still a work in progress, trying to figure out the balance of how to make sure that you're able to accomplish the things that you need. Because let's just be completely honest, it is hard to accomplish a lot of things with a 1-year-old. Right.
It definitely is.
Because you have to keep eyes on her all the time. Yeah. Unless she's sleeping, it's like, what do you have in your mouth? What is in your hand? What are you doing?
Don't touch that.
Yeah, don't touch that. Let me teach you something today. So it's like we're going through and just trying to navigate that fine line, but still making time for yourself. And it's just difficult.
Yeah, I think one of the things that COVID has hindered us from is, I make sure that you get the alone time that you can get. You know, and when you are taking the alone time, I make sure not to bother you as much as I would have, you know. But it has hurt us on the end of not being able to interact with our friends, not being able to say, hey, let's have a date night. We can let a cousin, or we can take Lily to a family member's house and, you know, us just go out. We've had to like literally figure out ways for us to take time with each other.
I was looking at my Facebook memories recently, and our last date night was over 365 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, it was in February. Yeah. We had I won't say our entire families, but the majority of our family was in town for Lily's baby dedication. Yeah. And my mom kept Lily so we could go on a date. Right. And that was literally the last time. Now, we had a ton of date nights planned for 2020. Like, we had bought concert tickets. Yeah. We had planned to go out of the country twice. Right. What else did we have? Like, we had stuff like in motion. We had actively put deposits on things. And then COVID just stopped that show.
Just shut it down.
So like us having all of those things together that we wanted to do, that we had planned to do, has just become really difficult. And then now we add in our friendships were already, I won't say difficult to maintain, because I don't want to make it feel that way.
You cold-blooded, ain't it?
Well, no, I'm not even saying that, but like our friends are not here for the most part. We have friends that are here, but like the large circle of friends, if you have 10 friends, 8 of them don't live here. Right. So for us, it's like we can't travel out of state to see them because a lot of my friends are essential workers. So there is no, I'm going out of town. You've been in your bubble. I've been in my bubble. Let's hang out. There is no bubble. Like they work in hospitals. They work in homes. Like there's a lot to that. But then also, like just having people around you and you're like, well, they're still living their lives. I'm not doing it. Right. So you try to extend your bubble as much as you can, but we failed miserably at that. Oh, we did. Like for me, it was more so of, I don't want to catch COVID, in the beginning. It's more so of, I don't want to catch COVID. They're not sure of how not, what to do and stuff like that. And then I know for a fact people wasn't doing everything they could to stay safe. Right. But as time went on and we paid more attention to it and we saw how we can keep ourselves safe and how we can go and be around people, for me, it's more now of, well, I don't have a reason to go anywhere. Like you said, like I do like hang around like one of my friends that lives here. But for the most part, it's like we haven't seen him in months. Right. But for the most part, it's like we all just kind of like all our friends live in another state. Like you said, 8 out of the 10 friends that we, live somewhere else. And they're not as tangible as the. And it's crazy because we used to spend so much time with them, even with the distance factor. Right. It's like we would go there, they would come here, we would meet in the middle, and we would just be able to see each other. But now it's just not truly an option because who's getting on a plane? Right. Nobody's making the time to drive across state lines because you just don't want to get into all of that. Then you have to add in the let me get a rapid test, let me quarantine. Right. Nobody wants to deal with that. So it's like video chat. Right. I'm a video chat. We've started to video chat a ton more. And I appreciate it. I love it just because it reminds me of the Jetsons and video chat king. Right. Like I get into it, man, and start video chatting everybody. But I also look at video chatting as a way for Lily to see people and our friends and our family, because one day she's gonna, build a relationship with these folks, and especially with my family, like it's still some family members that hadn't met Lily, like face to face. Like one of my uncles hasn't met her face to face. 2 of your uncles. 2 of them, and their first time actually seeing her, like, at this age now was when we did the family video chat for Christmas. And for me, that wouldn't have happened. Like Lily would have been to Chattanooga. Yeah, as much as we went to Chattanooga, she would have been there. But then you also have the same regard in my family. There's at least 2 uncles of mine that she hasn't met. Right. 2 uncles and 1 aunt. And then, of course, their respective spouses that she hasn't met because of COVID, because they couldn't make it down for her baby dedication. Yeah. So it was like the plans were there for us to see them again sooner than later, but it just hasn't happened yet. And so I think our adaptation, even though it was like, for us, we shut everything down. We just shut it down and kind of put our head down. But what has kept us moving forward was we started getting more involved in things around the house. Like we started getting more involved with YouTube. We started getting more involved with projects around the house and figuring out how to do more things around the house. And we tried to build things. Right. So y'all see my face. So it's and during that time I've graduated college. Right. We've started so many new things and just getting into things together is starting to, pay off on that end. So now
here it is, year later into COVID, they have a vaccine. When the vaccine was first announced, I was very nervous. I thought about the Tuskegee experiment, and I was solely on, I'm not sure. But like what I do when it comes to our relationship and it comes to making those decisions, I go to the people that I trust.
Okay.
Dr. Fauci was one of the people that I trusted in what he said. And as well as Dr. Artieka mom, wife over here. I trusted everything that she said.
I have no degree in anything medical. I've worked in the medical field, but I am not a medical professional.
But I trust what you say and how you feel about it. And I tell everybody about, my decision on the vaccine. If Fauci say it's okay and if my wife say it's good, hey, set it up and I'll take it. But I know you won't have us taking anything that is not good for us.
At least I wouldn't try to.
Right. You would do enough research. You would look into it enough to say, hey, this is what we need to do. And I respect you on making that decision. I know a lot of people will be like, nah, I wouldn't do that. But me respecting you frees up me to do a lot more things.
Yeah, with this vaccine, I have not spent as much time looking at it as I should have. And I say that because we are not candidates for any of the first 60% of the rollout.
We got a ways to go.
Yeah, so we're at being two healthy adults with a small child who is not school age. We are at the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. We're not essential workers. We both have the capabilities of working from home with our jobs, which my job is a true work from home job. It was never in a traditional office setting. So with having that as the ground, the foundation of the research, it's I'm not in a rush to look into the research because I don't qualify.
Yeah.
I have numerous friends, and I do mean numerous friends who have some have taken one part of the COVID vaccine. Some of them have completed both of the series, and being able to talk to them about it and find out how they're feeling afterwards and things like that. That has been a great deal of, for lack of better words, comfort to me in at least knowing the experience of the effects. I have a friend who's allergic to shellfish, and apparently she had an allergy to her first shot, so she's not allowed to get her second shot. Yeah. And I didn't even think about the correlation in that. Granted, none of us have those allergies, but that's something important to look into. So I am about 85% sold on the vaccine. I'm still looking in the differences between the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine, but looking at them and trying to understand the process that goes into it. I watch a lot of doctors on Instagram Reels that are let me bring out a whiteboard and let me draw you some examples. I like to see that because I don't like people talking to me in medical terms as if I'm a medical professional. Make it plain. Right. Put it in layman's terms, make it so that I can understand it. And then tell me the true side effects of it. Tell me what I should be looking out for, because we've seen a great deal of misinformation. You look at all these people that have underlying health conditions, which, to be technical about it, Lily has an underlying health condition, having issues with her heart. It's not something that is going to change the trajectory of her life, but I don't know what this vaccine does to the heart. Right. So looking at the long-term effects of that, granted, thank God she's not eligible for the vaccine yet. Right. So it's not something that I have to make a split decision on right now. But being able to look into those things has been very important. And it's something that by the time we are eligible, we'll have a decision made, and we can go into that decision confidently. So, I personally think we have adapted to COVID fairly well. A lot of people be like, but I'm out here living my life. I've heard that so many times. You need to just live your life and stuff like that. Well, I tell people all the time, I am. I do everything that I want to do. that's kind of like cold and flu season. I wasn't wearing a mask, but I wasn't out here in these streets during cold and flu season like before COVID. Yeah. It's just like I'm keeping my distance from people because I know people are not washing their hands and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So when you look at it from that regard, I'm being just as cautious as I would have been then. But now I've added a mask to the mix.
Right. But yeah, so I think we like I said, I think we adapted well. Dealing with year 2 of COVID. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see where we finish the year at. So we'll all be on this journey together with COVID. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, do we have any listener letters for today's episode?
So listener letters are a part of our show where you guys can send in your questions and we'll give our honest opinion on the particular question that you send. If you have a question, you can send it to ouraugustlovestory@gmail.com and we just might read it aloud on the show. Today's question says, my husband is not romantic, but I have no other complaints. He's just not romantic and he doesn't get gifts that I like most of the time. It's only things that he likes. All of our dates end up being guy things. He's a great provider and a great father. He just isn't into what I like, even when I tell him. Help. I'm going to let you take this.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got a lot to say, but no, I don't. Well, the first thing is, it's like, I try to be romantic, but I don't feel like you're a very romantic person. Or like this.
I'm not arguing.
Yeah. So it's like it cuts it off. But in her case, it's the flip. So what I would do is, the biggest thing is to tell your partner, hey, I would like it if we did this, and be romantic to him. Mm-hmm. Like the things that you want to do, you should not let people stop you from doing it, all because they don't know how to do it. Mm-hmm. If it's your birthday and you want him to be romantic, well, sometimes you gotta take the hand and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do and you're gonna pay for it. Okay. Because you do that enough,
it becomes something that he thinks to do.
You're right. It'll be like, well, I know we went here and she really enjoyed it.
It's kind of like us in traveling.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you start to, like, you have to take the lead when you know somebody is not doing something right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to just step up and say, hey, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And go do it. Like, this is how much it costs. This is where we need to be. I already have everything set up. Only thing you have to do is pay for it and show up.
Mm-hmm. I can see that being a thing. I guess my thing would be, like you said, giving the full instruction, because if you give the instruction enough, it becomes second nature to do it more. So take our relationship, for example, and I'm using the travel thing because that's something that I threw out. Tommy would always say, I want to go more places, but he never planned to do them.
Right. Never.
So since he never planned to do it, I just started taking the initiative of saying, hey, we should go somewhere. Here's a list of places that are attainable for us, like whether it be distance wise, because sometimes it's just you only have a weekend, or dollar amount wise, because we have a week, but we got a budget.
Right.
So picking those things and saying, okay, we're going to do those. And like, we are also the king and queen of extending a trip we have to take and making it about us.
Yeah.
So take, for example, Tommy's family does a big family reunion every other year.
Yeah.
So what we have done in the past is we've flown in for the family reunion and then added 2 or 3 days to the trip so that we can go and explore that city.
Right.
And people would look at those as like, they're not big trips, but if it's somewhere that you've never been, why are you only going to do the family reunion stuff?
Right.
Like, for an example, when we went to Detroit a few years ago, I was pregnant, so they limited some of the stuff that we could do. But we went to Canada.
We definitely did.
We explored Canada, and then we found landmark things to do around Detroit. I had been to Detroit a few times before, but I had never done like the Riverwalk. I had never been to Motown. Like we went into, even though we didn't gamble, we went into the casino in Canada. Yeah. Like in where were we at? In Windsor. So it was just like little things like that were just things that we built into our trip so that we could extend the trip. And it wasn't just we just came for the family reunion. And if somebody asked me, what did I do in Detroit? I wouldn't be able to tell them anything besides I stayed at the Marriott.
Yeah.
So I would say to find the things that he wants to do, but build yourself an itinerary into it.
Yeah.
If he wants to, like, say, you said it's only got things, I'm assuming sports. That's one of the things that I would make the clear assumption of. Say his team is the Celtics, because that's Tommy's team.
Go Boston.
Say you're going to Boston to a game. Like, let's build in something super romantic to do in Boston. And that way you win, he wins, and everybody gets, what they want out of the deal. So that would be my answer. Build something into the itinerary that is what you want to do and not just what he wants to do. Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's still, like, even though we've been together, 7 years?
Coming up on 8.
Been together 7 years. I'm still learning things that she likes and things that she don't like. And she's still growing into things that she likes and don't like. Like some things that she liked when we first started dating aren't the same things she liked now. I have to learn those things. And the best way for me to learn is to be taught.
And whoever thought we would be bonding over building furniture?
Right. Whoever thought it? Who would have thunk it?
That is not something that I would have thought 7 years ago.
Right.
That we would be doing at all. But like, we have been getting really excited about like I want to build a bench, and he's like, let's do it. We're going to Home Depot.
Like, why not? Let's do it. So that's the thing, you have to teach a person, even no matter how long you've been together, you're always constantly learning new things about your partner. That's the point of growth. So hopefully that helps. Let us know and everything. And we want to see you guys be romantic with each other. So
let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Whenever you guys get to build something into, because I know there's a lot of staying at home right now.
Right. What's our quote for this episode?
So, funny thing about these quotes, just telling everybody who's tuning in for the first time, I am a person who does not consume a lot of rap music. Right. But I randomly know the lyrics to songs.
To rap songs, and I find it to be hilarious.
So I used to have a lyric for everything. Like, he could say something and I would just like rattle off some random lyric, and he would be like, what are you talking about? And I'd be like, Google it. So I started doing these rap lyrics in the episodes when we first started, just kind of stuck. Don't think I've ever done this song before, but I know I've done this artist. So this lyric goes, my wrist deserves a shout out. I'm like, what up, wrist? My stove deserves a shout out. I'm like, what up, stove? All this jewelry on them, I'm out cold. So much money on me, it won't even fold.
Man.
There's Sir 2 Chainz.
Sir 2 Chainz.
Oh, bracelets.
Well, anyway, guys, thank you once again for listening to another episode of August Love Story, the podcast. Like I said, I'm Tommy T, and this is my beautiful wife, Artieka T. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, August Love Story. Subscribe to, we're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. These are, if you haven't already, please go subscribe on there to hear the podcast. Follow us on Instagram at August Love Story. And on Facebook at August Love Story.
And also Thursday. So this comes out on Wednesday. On tomorrow, our Married at First Sight episode reviews will be up for, we're doing season 12. So every Thursday, usually we try to get out earlier in the day.
Right.
Unless we have technical difficulties, and we've been experiencing a lot of those. We usually try to get those out earlier in the day. So if you're a fan of Married at First Sight, I know that's why a lot of our subscribers are now around. It's because of the Married at First Sight reviews. Definitely tune in on Thursday. Subscribe to the channel. You'll get the notifications as soon as the video comes out.
Right. Did I miss anything?
Nope. Oh, Tommy has another podcast. Go subscribe to his other podcast, which is Speaker Geekers Podcast.
Yep.
And you had something.
I did have something. Follow us on Instagram at me at I am Tommy T the third, and follow Artieka at Artieka.
Yep.
And also this episode has been produced by 3M Media. Yeah, so that's all I got.
I ain't got no more.
You ain't got no more?
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Peace.
Bye, y'all.